Welcome back to another adventure. So we're driving on the 10 freeway, I want to say it is, and Chris looks out the RV and says, I like those cactuses. And to me, they just look like sticks. But what they really look like was a whole bunch of railroad spikes welded together. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make our own drought-free, never have to water, never have to worry about breakage or anything. We're going to make some what they call ocotillos. Ocotillos. Yeah, that's what they're called. So it's a stick-looking cactus out in the middle of the Mojave Desert. What we need to do is build a base to put in the ground and be able to have these come off of it. So what they have is they have anywhere from 3 to, I've seen some that have like 20 sticks coming out. Now these do bloom, they do have spikes on them, and they're green, but we like the rust look. So, and I think when they actually go dormant or something like that, they turn like a blackish brown color, because that's what we saw out in the middle of the desert. They might have been dead ones. But we need something that's going to be able to hold these up pretty well and not, somebody grabs onto it and moves it or something like that, it's not going to come over. These weigh about maybe a half a pound. So if we get like 100 of these, we're going to be at like 50 pounds. So concrete, I'm thinking, 40, 50 pounds of concrete down into the ground, and that'll help hold up this and make it more stable. As long as we keep the plant, as we build this up, as long as we keep it kind of square to itself, we don't have to worry about it being heavy to one side and falling over. But to make something strong in the concrete, if we just start building spikes in the concrete and coming out of it, you really don't have any support. So what we do is when we build gates and stuff like that, you put a fence post in the ground. If you put pieces coming off of that fence post, you build a lot of strength, because for this to fall over, it has to lift this up out of the concrete, which it can't do. The concrete's going to hold it in. So you're adding a lot more strength, and you don't have to worry about it eventually coming loose. So that's what we're going to do. I have a piece of bed frame. This is where the wheel goes on a bed frame. I have a bed frame that we had laying around, found it probably driving by and saw it out there and cut it up for metal. So I cut up 3 pieces for each one. This is like a weird funky one, but it'll fit in the concrete, so we'll go with it. Then I have a couple pieces of rebar to weld off that. So it's basically just trying to get a footprint out. So that's what we're going to do. Then we're going to mix up some concrete and throw it in there. Sound like a plan? Follow along with us. I got the welder all set up, and now I'll do the small one first, which we're doing this weird funky thing. So I'm basically going to weld these together, and it has to be able to fit inside our bucket, so we got to worry about size. And then I'll start welding spikes to this and to each other. So let me grab my mask. Now, I didn't clean the metal or anything like that. We're not looking for a real good weld. We're just looking for a weld. So we'll do that. Now these bed frames are powder coated, so they're a little harder to weld to when you don't grind the paint off. But we're also just looking for added strength, not Nothing major. Because once you bury these in concrete, they're not going to want to move. Okay, now I'm going to grab the spikes, and I take them and put them together. And we kind of make just like a little base of a little bush. Now, since these are the beginning of the spikes, these have to be welded together pretty decently because you're going to have a lot of weight kind of cantilevered off of it. So make sure you get all the sides. That should do that little, as I think they're called pups when they're cactuses. So now we have this thing, and I'm going to lay this in here the best it can go and then just weld it in. You want it pretty strong. Now what I want to make sure is that it can be laid in the bucket and really. If you guys watch my other videos, you've seen my frustration of this welding mask. All right. Anywhere this touches that metal, I'm welding it. All right, that should be good. That's our first one done. So now this gets set down inside the concrete, and then we weld off of this. You guys will see. I'm going to go ahead and build the other one. Okay, so what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to build these first, weld all these together. And this one we're doing a whole bunch of them because we're making a bigger one for the front yard. This is kind of like the focal point of the front yard. All right, so that's the base of it. And now I'll go ahead and weld our support bars to it. So now these we have to make sure we fit inside the bucket. And we'll just weld these on. Now the angle kind of works pretty good because I'm able to take this and fold this up into that so it kind of 90 turns around one of the spiky. Now I'm welding these at 1/4 inch steel setting, which I don't know how much amperage I'm using at that point. Not looking at the amperage, but it's some heat. So now we're gonna have to wait for this to cool down, and then we can start mixing up concrete. I might throw the hose on it and kind of just force cool them. But we do have some mixing up to do and rearranging to do to be able to get the concrete in here and start mixing it up. So follow us along for that. Okay, these are the buckets we're using. They're square buckets. I don't know what they're from. I don't know what was in them. Maybe Christos?
Not a clue.
Okay, she doesn't remember. I guess laundry detergent would be about the same. You could get the square laundry detergent. I like the square ones because I don't know how the round buckets would work, but these are slightly tapered. Yeah, that's the word, tapered. They're slightly tapered, so they work good for getting the concrete out, we've noticed. This is not our first go at it. This is actually our last go at it, but the first ones we didn't record the concrete part, so now we're recording the concrete part. We put a trash bag in it so that way we can release the plastic easier. Some people said put grease in there, and the trash bag worked great. So it gave us kind of like a little liner to work the concrete in. Now what we did find out is if we mix it in a separate bucket, we could pour it in, and it's easier to mix than mixing a whole bunch. Normally you'd use a wheelbarrow and mix it inside the wheelbarrow, but we're doing such a small amount, the bucket seemed to work good. So Chris will throw some water in it, and then I got to get concrete. I don't know who made concrete so heavy, but yes. Nothing works better than a crowbar to mix up concrete. Now what you want to do is just mix up a little bit at a time, because it makes it where you can actually stir the water in. If you put it in too much, it makes like a hard clump at the bottom, and it's really hard to work with. Now this is the Quikrete high strength concrete mix. And those are 60-pound bags. That's just the bottom one that we have left over. When I was younger, I used to use the 90-pound bags. Now I wish they had a 10-pound bag. Ready?
Your mouth to be blue or green?
Blue.
It's blue.
Is blue. Is working. Half the time we record and then we don't have any sound. The other half we record, we forgot to hit record.
Or it's out of focus.
Out of focus is the big one.
I'll give you a finger,
Finger.
not the thumb. Is it wrong that I really want to put my hands in it?
I'm seeing that.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't want to get my hands dirty, and then you jump in.
Dirty. It's my thumb is sliced open.
Oh,
Stick my thumb in there.
you just did.
It goes back to your childhood mud pie days.
Mud pie days?
Yes. It just calls to you.
Okay, that should be good.
So just barely go up to the spikes.
Right. And then our whole front yard is all rock, So we'll have rock that kind of comes up a little bit more too. So
One wants to lean a little bit. I guess it doesn't matter, huh? It really doesn't.
it doesn't matter too much, but if we can make it
More center.
a little more center, it's better.
No.
All right, let's get this in here.
Pull it.
Rinse my leg.
On this. All right.
We'll get the vibrating sander and put it on it. So let me get the vibrating sander. We'll put the vibrating sander on it, and then we'll see if it drops down a little bit.
Am I doing this?
This one first. Let's see if we can get more. So what that does is brings up a whole bunch of moisture from down below, kind of packs it all in and gets all the air pockets and whatever else is in there out. We had it pretty full, and it basically went down about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch. Now the reason why we didn't do spikes going all the way down is because to me there was no point on wasting railroad spikes going down into the ground where you won't see them. So I think they're like $3 each, $2 each, or something like that.
Yeah.
So why put money in the ground when you don't need to? All right, the rest of this we're just gonna have to toss.
Can I vibrate it again?
Yeah.
And usually it's set by now.
Yeah.
I have that problem of it moving, and this one's just wiggling all over the place.
Yep. Well, when I put the vibrator on it, it seems to make it shift around. It's almost like it's moving the concrete down underneath.
Which on our other batches was already set.
That, yeah. All right, we're gonna take a break. These have to dry 24 hours, and then we'll start welding on spikes. So just like that, you'll see me tomorrow. We waited a couple days, and we got it to where it's basically ready to be pulled out. We're gonna continue making this today. So we're gonna put a rope around this, and then Chris is gonna hook it up to the hoist, and we're gonna pull it up off the ground, and then I'll take a soft blow hammer and just kind of Try to save the plastic, but I have a feeling it's beyond saving now because it's so brittle. But we're going to do that, and we'll see. You guys will follow along. Okay. Okay, now we'll do the other one while we're here. So you can kind of see how the taper works. As I get it down just, a couple inches, it gets real loose. So I think if we did like a regular bucket, they're not tapered, so it might fight all the way down. But yeah, the other ones we did, the plastic didn't stick like this.
It doesn't matter, it's going in the ground.
Yeah.
Just gonna weld on it.
It's not going to catch on fire. It'll melt. Oh, this one's staying. All right.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to get set up to weld, and then we'll show some. That was easy to say. We'll show some welding and kind of the idea I get behind welding these together, trying to make them flow and not flow. Prepping these for welding, if you're like me and you got concrete all over them, just take a wire brush and knock the concrete off. I'm welding right over the rust. We're not spending a lot of time on cleaning these up. We did run them through a tumbler just to kind of knock off the barnacles, but for the most part, they have some flash rust and stuff like that. They weld up fine. So we got these from a railroad tie place. They had a whole bunch of railroad spikes also. And they were like, I want to say $1 to $4 each. I'm sure you can get them cheaper. Just don't grab them for the railroad tracks. I don't know if that's right. But I guess these companies can get them and sell them, so you can buy them. They're all over. I think you can even get them on Amazon. So what I'm going to do is start from down low. We're going to build up, and we want to go out a little bit, but we also want to kind of make it look realistic. So they kind of twist and they move. They have movement to them. You don't just want to weld them straight out. The other thing you want to also make sure is that you don't weld the spikes all the same exact direction, because I think that would look boring. So I'm going to start with this. I'm going to build these out. Now this one's only going to be what they call a pup, which is a baby cactus. And we're only going to go up probably 4 feet, 3 feet, just something that we're going to have next to the really big one, so it kind of looks like that one and this is its offspring. So I'm going to go ahead and start welding. I'm welding it. I don't know my amperage. I'll have Chris look at it while I'm welding. But I'm welding on the 1/4 inch setting on my welder. And it seems to be welding fine. It's probably a little cold for this size, but it also does go down to a spike. So it doesn't really matter, as long as it holds. It's not like it's holding structural weight. Now the cleaner you get this, the better it's going to weld, but I'm lazy.
said you're averaging about 160.
About 160. So I'm welding about 160 amps. Some of these you can still smell the creosote. I'm going to go ahead and keep on building this up, and then I'll bring you back after we get a little bit higher. All right, so I got them up a little bit higher. We also started working on this one back here. What I wanted to show you guys, we're basically just going to go a little bit higher on this one. But what I wanted to show you guys is how I will twist these spikes. So what I like to do is kind of have some of them kind of spiral and go up. So you just kind of weld them at different angles and just sit there and let them flow around. You kind of want a little bit of width. They don't get real wide. They don't grow out like this direction. But they do kind of twist and branch off and do other stuff. If we wanted to, we could branch off a couple of these, but it's not as common. You don't see it. It's like kind of like a 4-leaf clover when you see one of those. But I'm going to continue welding this up, and we don't want them all to finish at the same height. We want to go up and kind of, you know, have these go up a little bit higher. Usually the centers will grow higher than the outside ones. Yeah, I don't know why, but I think because it starts from the center and then the other ones kind of grow off of it. So I'm going to continue growing up. Growing? We're growing. And as you can tell, I put on protective sleeves. That way I don't have to worry about third-degree burns. Now some of these that are like really, really bent, they're kind of, I'm still looking for that helmet. They're kind of fun to play with. You know, you have like a weird bend. I could take this and bring this over here. And this will allow me to twist around this one a little better. All right, that completes this one. Now we just dig a hole and put it in the hole. So even though it looks like I'm actually pretty tall, because I'm as tall as me, but that's actually pretty short, it's going to go down to the ground about 18 inches. So this will come down to about here. So compared to the one that we're going to build next, that one's going to be, I'm hoping for like 9 to 10 feet. So this is going to look tiny compared to that one. And the reason why we're building them so tall is because we want to add height to our front yard. Our front yard's basically all rock, and I've been told that it's more appealing the front of the house if you have stuff that's tall towards the back of the front yard. It makes it more inviting, or I don't know, some real estate agent told me that. Leave it in the comments down below if I'm right, or if I'm wrong, and let me know. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on this one, and I'll get a little bit taller, and I'll talk about how I'm twisting these around, trying to bring it to where, you know, they kind of have some motion without being in motion, you know. I kind of like the look of the flow, kind of like fire would be, to where it kind of flows and twists and does other stuff. Even though these cactuses really don't do that, but in my front yard they do. That's what's cool about building your own. All right, so what we're doing is continuing this up, and you can see the twist I'm starting with these. So what I'm trying to do is get them to flow and go around each other. Some of these with the bends, we'll just kind of see wherever that takes us. I mean, that's part of the awesomeness of this type of setup. So I'm going to go ahead, jump in here, and start welding some more. Because I'm flowing these, that's why I'm working mainly on these. But I'm going to go ahead and start jumping around to the outside. But when you start to get something to move a certain direction, you want to kind of stay on that. I have cheater lenses inside my in my welding mask, so that makes it hard to see. I might have to take those out. It makes it hard to see while you're trying to grab stuff with the mask down. What I should do is be like a chipmunk. Fill my pockets. I got them in my pocket, don't I? What's sad is these railroad spikes are becoming very rare. Around our area, they switched out all the railroad spikes and they went, or railroad ties from the wood. They switched over to concrete. I don't know if they're doing that all over the nation, but that it's kind of going to get rid of this type of stuff. So having something like this, 10 years down the road is going to be pretty cool. All right, I'm going to keep on doing this. I just wanted to show you guys the kind of the flow that we're trying to get. And I'll bring you back after we get probably 7 or 8 more higher, and then we'll show you a little more of the flow and kind of what I'm thinking, or if I am. All right, I'm at the point now to where I need to step on a step ladder. I guess I could do these two. Maybe that one. I don't know. And then I'm going to get on a ladder and start working. What happens is they start getting too tall, and then the sparks all fall down and go inside your pockets and everything else. All right, now start climbing up a ladder. Well, as you can see, I got it laid down. Chris took up the hoist, had the great idea of that before we had it all weird balanced and on wheels and everything else. So the hoist is hooked up to the dolly, and now I can go ahead and weld up because we're going taller than what my garage is. So I think we're going to go about 10 feet. So I'm just going to keep on welding. I think I'll get the step stool and I'll weld that one first. Get the highest one done first. And then all the rest should follow suit. I don't know if we need to do one more. I think we'll be fine on this. We'll measure it. This is so annoying. Stop.
Your roll. I think it's still okay. You okay?
Yeah. Burn my tattoo. I just wanted to lower for me, that's all.
Yeah, it's almost off there.
Well, we'll figure it out after we get done.
Oh shit, fire! Excuse me, move! That does not smell good in any way.
I bet it wouldn't.
Ew. Fire down.
Spikes. Hey. You're working yourself into a corner.
Why is that making me hungry now? It's starting to smell good. It's a good thing we have a fire extinguisher.
Yeah. So I'm thinking you here holding these,
Okay.
or do you want to do this part?
No,
Okay.
to both.
Huh?
No to both.
Yeah. Oh, where it's gonna go, how it's gonna go. Not a foot. So I guess let's go down a little bit.
Okay, we're caught up there. Okay, it's just getting deeper. Deeper that way.
Deeper.
Okay, we're loosening it off with the holly.
Okay, so we're gonna go forward. Just put it there.
It's pushing me out.
Okay.
Um,
All right, I think I have it. Can you move that stick? No? Oh no, that's heavy.
yeah, no.
No? Thank you. Okay. I can't see you, so I'm sorry. I have to do something. Okay. Falling over.
That's not fun.
Okay, now we just drag it out.
By what?
By hands. Okay, let's drop the dolly.
We need to do a couple more scratches and it'll be like Wolverine. Or Freddy Krueger. Are you ready?
I'm pushing up.
No, I meant. Tree. Okay. Let's go.
All right, let me set it up first. A little bit, it's too heavy. I guess the less we angle it downward, the better off I am.
Okay, so you gonna pull it the
Yeah, oh yeah, I can't push it.
Let him out of there.
Going up.
Heavy, huh?
Yeah. And awkward. Okay, so I guess let's take it over to there. Oh. Okay.
Now,
To figure out which direction. I'm thinking that one should be facing kind of that way because that's the way the sun is.
okay. So,
But it'd be kind of cool to have that kind of going up and over that too. So let's set up. Okay.
and then we're gonna want to lean it, I guess.
That way.
That way, yeah.
Okay, and I'll lift up as much as I can.
And do what?
I'm going to lift and pull over the hole. You just got to balance it.
All right.
Ready?
Do it. Which way?
Yeah, that's fine. So if you notice, we are a lot less than what we started with. I didn't like the way it was kind of going way too far out, and when I added on the upper ones, they all kind of were like leaning the same direction. So it looked like they were like really wind blown, which would probably work at this house, but so I ended up cutting them off, and we're gonna bring the welder out here and actually weld them out here so we can figure out exactly how we want it set up. So that's what we're doing now.
I was.
Ready?
Yeah. You need me to hold it?
It's gonna auto darken on me. Does that look pretty straight up?
Is that what you want?
Yeah, it's kind of centered.
Oh, jeez. I'm shaky.
Yeah. Let me try it. Okay. Okay, so we figured out where we want the little pup. And it's going to be close to here, kind of like the train, the ore cart's kind of going around it. So we have the weed barrier. So first I'm going to take the shovel and cut a hole in the weed barrier. I found the hard soil. Seems like every scoop is hitting new rocks. All right, as you can see, we dropped it in the hole. I backfilled it with some dirt. And now that's all we have to do is throw some gravel over it. Now what I do like is how we had almost like a little campfire ring up here. So I think we'll do the same. I think we'll kind of redo a campfire up here. It looked really cool. Kind of looked inviting, to me at least. When you're out in the open area, you always look for a campfire ring. And that kind of lets you know other people have camped in that area. And due to the fact that there's a mine here, I picture them having a campfire to stay warm during the winter time. So now we got to rebuild our tracks here. So pretty soon we're going to be working on doing the rails up here. The whole idea of the front yard is kind of it's an area that Chris and I like to go to. It had a mine area where we camp at and off-road and stuff like that. It had a little mine, and then there was an ore cart kind of coming out of it. There wasn't water areas, but who doesn't like bridges and trestles and water? There's no fire. One can think it, you know. This whole front yard is based on imagination, so might as well have fun with it. So we got the cactuses planted, and my wife is happy. I'm happy. A lot of the neighbors are happy. This has been a project that we've been doing for a plane for a while. This is a project we've been working on for 5 or 6 years now. All of these rocks, most of those rocks have been collected by my wife out rock hounding. Every time we go out, we enjoy the desert, the Mojave and all that, and we always grab 1 or 2 rocks and bring it home. Through 15 years of collecting, this is kind of what we got. The trestle was built from old wood that we had a planter box in the back that we built, and we tore that down, and it was all rotted and dry rotted and stuff like that, so make a cool looking trestle. So we did that, and since we're doing the ore cart with the rails, and we live right next door to a train, as you guys hear on a lot of my videos, I thought railroad spikes are the perfect building material. So Chris kind of came up with this idea. I know she found it on Pinterest or one of those things. Saw somebody else making something, or who knows, and we went with it. So we have plants all down the side, all around. We have this pea-sized gravel. The plan is to keep the gravel, the pea-sized gravel, but also do some colored gravel on top and kind of add some color to it. So once again, I want to thank you guys for watching. I know all my videos seem to be really long. I kind of like showing how I do stuff, and hopefully it's interesting to somebody, some of you guys. I know a lot of people love watching the airbrushing, and definitely our videos do the best when we're out on off-road and doing stuff like that. But this channel is designed to kind of follow along Chris and my life of all the stuff we do. From my work to us playing in the desert. So I really want to thank you guys for watching. If you can, hit that like, subscribe, and check out some of my other videos. They're not all this boring. Some are more boring, let's be honest. But it really warms my heart when I see you guys watching my videos. So thanks for watching.
You need your focus? One job.
It's a stupid job.
But it's mine.
Okay. Yeah, just put it on the Corvette. Thank you so much.
So nice. Nice when your neighbor brings you a dip.
Dinner. Old age. Thanks for watching.